ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ
ಹಲೋ
ಸರ್
ಸರ್
ಸರ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ ಸಂಜಯ್ ಸರ್?
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ
ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ
ವಿಶ್ವವಿನೂತನ ವಿದ್ಯಾಚೇತನ ಸರ್ವಹೃದಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಿ ಜಯ ಭಾರತಿ. ವಿಶ್ವವಿನೂತನ ವಿದ್ಯಾಚೇತನ ಸರ್ವಹೃದಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಿ ಜಯ ಭಾರತಿ. ಕರುನಾಡ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ಗುಡಿ ಗೋಪುರ ಸುರ ಶಿಲ್ಪ ಕಲಾಕೃತಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣೆ ತುಂಗೆ ಕಾವೇರಿ ಪವಿತ್ರಿತ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರ ಮನೋಹಾರಿ. ವಿಶ್ವವಿನೂತನ ವಿದ್ಯಾಚೇತನ ಸರ್ವಹೃದಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಿ ಜಯ ಭಾರತಿ. ಗಂಗ ಕದಂಬ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕೂಟ ಬಲ ಚಾಲುಕ್ಯ ಹೊಯ್ಸಳ ಬಲ್ಲಾಳ. ಗಂಗ ಕದಂಬ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕೂಟ ಬಲ ಚಾಲುಕ್ಯ ಹೊಯ್ಸಳ ಬಲ್ಲಾಳ. ಹಕ್ಕ ಬುಕ್ಕ ಪುಲಕೇಶಿ ವಿಕ್ರಮರ ಚೆನ್ನಮ್ಮಾಜಿಯ ವೀರಶ್ರೀ. ವಿಶ್ವವಿನೂತನ ವಿದ್ಯಾಚೇತನ ಸರ್ವಹೃದಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಿ ಜಯ ಭಾರತಿ. ತ್ಯಾಗ ಭೋಗ ಸಮಯೋಗದ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಬೆಳುವಲ ಮಲೆ ಕರೆ ಸುಂದರ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ. ತ್ಯಾಗ ಭೋಗ ಸಮಯೋಗದ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಬೆಳುವಲ ಮಲೆ ಕರೆ ಸುಂದರ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ. ಜ್ಞಾನದ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದ ಕಲೆ ಐಸಿರಿ ಸಾರೋದಯ ಧಾರಾ ನಗರಿ. ವಿಶ್ವವಿನೂತನ ವಿದ್ಯಾಚೇತನ ಸರ್ವಹೃದಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಿ ಜಯ ಭಾರತಿ. ಅರಿವೇ ಗುರು ನುಡಿ ಜ್ಯೋತಿರ್ಲಿಂಗ ದಯವೇ ಧರ್ಮದ ಮೂಲ ತರಂಗ. ಅರಿವೇ ಗುರು ನುಡಿ ಜ್ಯೋತಿರ್ಲಿಂಗ ದಯವೇ ಧರ್ಮದ ಮೂಲ ತರಂಗ. ವಿಶ್ವ ಭಾರತಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಾರತಿ. ವಿಶ್ವ ಭಾರತಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಾರತಿ. ಮೊಳಗಲಿ ಮಂಗಳ ಜಯ ಭೇರಿ. ಮೊಳಗಲಿ ಮಂಗಳ ಜಯ ಭೇರಿ. ವಿಶ್ವವಿನೂತನ ವಿದ್ಯಾಚೇತನ ಸರ್ವಹೃದಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಿ ಜಯ ಭಾರತಿ. ಕರುನಾಡ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ಗುಡಿ ಗೋಪುರ ಸುರ ಶಿಲ್ಪ ಕಲಾಕೃತಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣೆ ತುಂಗೆ ಕಾವೇರಿ ಪವಿತ್ರಿತ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರ ಮನೋಹಾರಿ. ವಿಶ್ವವಿನೂತನ ವಿದ್ಯಾಚೇತನ ಸರ್ವಹೃದಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಿ ಜಯ ಭಾರತಿ. ಜಯ ಭಾರತಿ. चेतन सर्वहृदय संस्कारी जय भारती विश्व विनूतन विद्या चेतन सर्वहृदय संस्कारी जय भारती करुनाड सरस्वती गुडी गोपुर सुरशिल्प कलाकृति कृष्णे तुंगे कावेरी पवित्रित क्षेत्र मनोहारी विश्व विनूतन विद्या चेतन सर्वहृदय संस्कारी जय भारती गंग कदंब राष्ट्रकूट बल चालुक्य होयसळ बल्लाळ गंग कदंब राष्ट्रकूट बल चालुक्य होयसळ बल्लाळ हक्क बुक्क पुलकेशि विक्रमर चन्नम
Hello. Vijay sir.
Hello, sir. Hi.
Hi, good morning sir. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ
Voice,
ಇದೆಯಾ?
sir. Yes, yes,
Morning.
yes, sir. Clearly audible.
ವಿಜಯ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ. My voice is it audible?
Yeah.
Yes sir, yes, sure.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Is there any disturbance?
No sir, no.
No.
Okay.
Good morning. Good morning sir.
Good morning, sir.
Let's begin the session, sir. Shall we?
Madam, is
Yes,
so
ma'am.
beautiful.
You can start.
Okay.
Irki hakanidam.
Starting. Instructions to the participants. Please mute yourself when the session starts. In case of any query, please post it in the chat box. We would appreciate if you can write your name, designation, affiliation, and place while posting the queries. Feedback form will be provided in the chat box. Please fill the feedback form after the session. And also, please fill the overall feedback form, which will be posted after the valedictory session. Ellarigu namaskara. Namaste to one and all present here. Made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. With this motivational lines of Tennyson in mind, considering the current situation due to COVID-19 pandemic and the uncertainty that looms around it, Shri H.D. Devegowda Government First Grade College, Paduvalippe, has decided to go forward with academic endeavors in a virtual mode. And it is pleasing to note that we have successfully completed the 3 days of 4-day virtual national level workshop on intellectual property rights organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell of the college with the hearty support of the faculty friends and the participants. Today, we have the fourth and the final session by Mrs. R. Arati Ratna Madam on an overview of copyrights. The session would be followed by valedictory ceremony. In the august presence of all the invited dignitaries, principal, my dear colleagues, all the enthusiastic participants who have joined us from different states of the country to this national level virtual workshop on intellectual property rights, I, Pallavi Ilkal, Assistant Professor of English, declare the session on. And I invite Shri Kumara M, Assistant Professor of Library and Information Science, to welcome the gathering. Over to you, Kumar sir.
Thank you, madam. Good morning to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the chief guest of this session and valedictory function, Dr. C.A. Somshekarappa, formerly Professor and Chairman, Department of PG Studies and Research in Sociology, Karnataka University, Dharwad, and also the founder, Registrar of Karnataka Folklore University. Welcome you, sir. I wholeheartedly welcome the resource person of today's session, Mrs. Arati Ratna ML, Assistant Professor at the School of Excellence in Law, Tamil Nadu, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Law University, Chennai. Welcome you, madam. I welcome our beloved principal, who is also the president of this session, Dr. G.D. Narayan, sir. Welcome, sir. I welcome Srimati Vidya, Assistant Professor of Commerce and IKSC Coordinator. Welcome you, madam. I welcome Dr. Nirikshan Singh Gaugi, Assistant Professor of Social Work and Organizing Secretary of this webinar. Welcome you, sir. I welcome all the dignitaries, teaching and non-teaching staff and participants from various parts of the country. Welcome to all. Thank you. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Kumar sir. Today, we have Mrs. R. Arati Ratna ML, Assistant Professor at Tamil Nadu Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai, specializing in intellectual property law, who will delineate on an overview of copyright. I request Dr. Sundaresha HN, Assistant Professor of History, to introduce the resource person to us.
Thank you, ma'am. Hi. Good afternoon and welcoming all for the fourth day of national level virtual workshop on awareness of intellectual property rights. I am Dr. Sundaresh N, Department of History, Sri H.D. Devegoda, Government First Grade College, Advale. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our esteemed resource person, Mrs. Arati Ratna ML, who will be giving us a presentation on a very interesting topic on an overview of copyright. Mrs. Arati Ratna ML is graduated in Bachelor's of Law from in the year of 2006 and Master of Law at Tamil Nadu. Dr. Ambedkar Law University, specializing in intellectual property law, she enrolled as an advocate in Bar Council of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry in the year of 2006 and practiced at Madras High Court, handling various civil suits. After completing a Master of Law, joined as a guest faculty in Dr. Ambedkar Government Law College, Chennai, and worked till 2018. In the year of 2018, joined as an assistant professor in School of Excellence in Law, Tamil Nadu. She handled intellectual property law, banking law, property law, family law, torts, professional ethics for UG students, and handled property law and intellectual property and human rights law for PG students. Arati Ratna has published articles with regard to blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, human rights and IP, patent pooling, no for a divorce in UGC care journals, participated and presented papers in various national, international, and state level seminars and conferences, and coordinated and organized many national and international seminars, workshops, symposiums, and webinars in the university. Thank you. Thank you for an opportunity given to introduce Mrs. Arati Ratna, ma'am. Thank you, one and all. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sundaresh sir. Before the technical session, I would like to pronounce few instructions to the participants. Please drop your queries in the chat box. At the end of the session, all the queries will be addressed. The feedback form link will be provided in the chat box. Your feedback is very important for our future endeavors, so kindly fill the feedback form. And also please note that the rapporteur for this session, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Eleballi, would coordinate the interaction between the resource person and the participants. The interaction session will follow the technical session. I know each one of us is very keen to hear Mrs. R. Arati Ratna ML Madam, who is the best combination of academics and practice. Now, I request Madam to take charge of the session. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you so much, Pallavi madam and Sundaresh sir for introducing me and Vijay Kumar sir for giving the welcome address. I wish all the organizers as well as principal sir. Thank you, sir. And I just want to tell a few words and before starting my presentation. As principal sir yesterday mentioned that he is associated with Tamil Nadu through Bharathidasan University, being a PhD guide. I myself have a little connect with Karnataka and Kannadiga people. Though I am born and brought up in Chennai, being a Tamilian, I studied in Kannada Sangha school, which is in Chennai, and I know to read and write Kannada. So I'm very proud of this, and I have a lot of Kannada friends, and the Kannadigas are known for hospitality. That's really a good thing about you all, and I could see that in beginning itself and for the past 3 days. So I'm so proud to be with you all here. Without no further delay, let me start my presentation. I'll share my screen now. Hope my scene is visible.
It's visible, madam.
Yes. Yes. The topic given to me is an overview of Copyright Act. You all know copyright is an intellectual property which comes under the intangible property. We say property. There are two types of property. I'll give a very small introduction about a general perspective, then I'll move on to copyright. So the properties of basically is of two types, tangible and intangible. You all have heard about movable and immovable property. That is a part of tangible property. Here, intangible property is all about the rights attached to it. So the mere property is a tangible property. Only when you look at the right in that attached to the property, it comes under the intellectual property. Intellectual property is of many varieties. We can again further categorize into two things. One is industrial property and other is copyright and related rights. So industrial property, all other things, we had few sessions in the past 3 days, like patent, trademarks, designs, industrial designs, geographical indications, know-how, confidential informations, all those things, protection of plant varieties and farmers' rights, all those things comes under industrial property. And the other variety in intellectual property is copyright and related rights. It is totally different from all other things which you heard earlier in the previous sessions. So let's see the bird's eye view of Copyright Act, the important provisions attached to it, and let me start with my topic now. You all would have seen the symbol which is on the left top, all rights, copyright reserved. So this is where you are getting that right. What is copyright? Actually, copyright is a bundle of, there are so many rights attached to one particular work. We'll be seeing one by one. And we say it is a negative right because it is monopoly. Once you create something, you have all the rights in it. So you become the sole owner of it. You restrict others from using it. So we call it as negative right. And it is an exclusive right. If you have a property at home, if you are getting it through inheritance, two brothers, sisters, all will be sharing over the will be having a share over the property. But intellectual property is creation of human mind. With your intellect, you are creating something using your brain, using your mind, intellectualness, you are creating something. So that gives entire protection only to you. So we say it's exclusive right. It is only for you. You have got all the right, just like any other property. You can transfer, you can license, assignment, everything is possible with this property also. You need not spend anything. Only the time and intellectualness will give you more and more benefits, including the economic benefits. And another very interesting thing is the moment you create a work, I'm taking a class. If you are writing a notes, if you are not interested in my class, you are drawing something. Yes, every work of yours if it is original, has got copyright, and the registration is not mandatory. So registration is not a prerequisite. The moment you create, you become the author. You are the owner. Author is the first owner of the work. So registration is not mandatory. But if you want to register, we have provisions for that also. And independent creation. See, I'm standing on top of a mountain and I'm explaining the scenic view which I'm viewing to two persons. Each one are drawing or making a pencil shading kind of thing, some artistic work they are making. Both the works are original. It is not copied, but whereas in patent, trademarks and all, you would have seen that infringement category because their registration is mandatory. And here in copyright, very importantly, each and every work has got its originality. If it has original content over it, it gets copyright protection. So it is independent creation. Each and every one's independent creation has got copyright over it. We can't say that it has been copied. If you write as such, then it is copy. If you yourself put in your efforts, your ideology, your imagination, and you're drawing it, that also has originality over it. Same faculty taking class, each and every student writing notes, and one is not going to be the same with any other, unless otherwise the faculty has dictated some content, right? Hope you understand. If the faculty is giving a lecture, you are taking notes on your way, in your own way, it has originality and it gets copyright protection. And next is, that's what the next top point is also the same. So copyright subsists in an identical work, the same work. I'm dictating, you're taking, I'm explaining, you're drawing a picture or you're getting it from me, you're writing a story. Two people are writing a story. Definitely it's not going to be one and the same. The ideology, the effort, which the intellectualness of that person plays a major role. So copyright subsists in an identical works. And another important thing, no copyright for ideas. Mere ideas are not protected under copyright. You would have got an idea, excellent story is coming up in your mind. You are explaining it to your friend is writing it down. The friend who has written it down holds the copyright because expression alone gets protection. Mere ideas are not protected. Even in patent, you would have heard, you have got an idea, you are expressing to someone else, he is taking up the idea, working on, and he is coming up with an invention. That invention gets protection. The same way, even in copyright, if you have some idea, you have to record it in any form. Write it, record, voice record, or you take a video, anything, you have to record it. You have to express it. Very importantly, there is a concept dichotomy, idea expression dichotomy. Ideas are not protected only when the ideas expressed are protected. You would have seen many issues in cinema area, cinema industry, that they will say that is my story, I only told him, but he has taken it as a film. If you have told that story, you would have expressed it in paper, you could have self-posted for you, you would have registered it, or if you are so good, to prove that it is your work, then you are the owner, no problem, no issues at all. But you have not at all expressed it anywhere in the form of tangible, then it is not possible for you to claim. There is no evidence actually. Fine. Now let's see the subject matter of copyright. Yes, we say copyright. Many works are involved in this copyright. What are the different types of work which is there in copyright? So that is called the subject matter of copyright. To start with, literary work. Whatever you write, whatever you pen it down is literary work. You write a story, you write a joke, you write a screenplay, you write a poetry, a small haiku poets. So anything, even the computer program, including computer program, whatever is in the form of literature gets literary work. Computer programs are protected under copyright in our country. Some countries give protection in patent, but computer program per se as such is copyright protected through that program, if you are coming up with some artificial intelligence that has got some functional quality, some robots you are making that has got some functional quality, that comes under patent. But the mere programs, software programs, computer programs are protected only under Copyright Act in our country. And next is artistic work. Artistic work includes painting, portraits, any pictures, any kind of artistic work, including photographs. A person, if you're taking a photo, yes, that photo has got a copyright. You would have seen the symbol C in a circle in the previous slide I showed you. So that is a symbol, and every other work, if you are the creator, you own copyright. Copyright is right to copy. Only you have got that exclusive right to copy. Next is musical work. Any music with or without sound, the composing, that's all swarams and all we used to say, all that has got will come under musical work. Any tunes, whatever is composed using an instrument or using all these swarams will come under musical work. And next is dramatic work. As we all very well know about the drama, some plays, screenplays, that comes under dramatic work that has got copyright protection. And next is sound recording. All these things you can see in cinema. All the works is available in cinematography film, and each and every work has got separate protection also. In your college, if you have got some stage performances, you are performing the drama, that drama is a copyright, has got copyright protection. And recording of sounds, any sounds, if you are recording some sounds, yes, it's been recorded, the sound has been recorded, anything it may be. Even in cinemas we have got this dubbing and all those recordings, or you're singing a song, you are telling a story, you are recording it. Nowadays online classes, we record classes, all those sound recordings comes under copyright. And next is cinematography work. All these moving pictures, whatever is captured, even using your cell phone, not necessary that big cameras has to be used, whatever is recorded, a moving picture has been recorded, that has got copyright protection. So these are the areas in which copyright subsists. Let's see whose rights are protected. Who is the creator? The author, we say generally the copyright protects the right of the author. But if it is for literary work, the author, the name author, the term author very well fits. But when we go to the other literary works, other subject matter of copyrights, the creator, the name of the creator, it differs. So for literary work, it is the author, and for musical work, it is the composer. For the cinematograph work, it is the producer. Because I told you, in cinematograph, many other works are combined and a cinema is taken. So a producer becomes the right of the producer is safeguarded in copyright. The producer is the one who holds the right of the copyright over it. And next is the sound recording. Even here, the producer. And next is photograph. In case of artistic work, the person who creates it, and I have pointed specifically with regard to photograph. The person who clicks the photo holds he is the author and he holds the right. Generally, the author is the first owner. Okay. Yes. Now let's see who is the owner of the work. Generally speaking, the person who creates the work is the owner, but at times it differs. If I am the person, I have written a book, but I have given my rights to the publisher. While creating, I am the author as well as the owner. So I am the first owner. Now I have given my rights to publish in that particular language, say in English. Now for that work, English book, the publisher becomes the owner. I will be always an author. There is no doubt the one who has created is an author. In case employer-employee relationship, then the employee is the author. The employer, since he has worked for him, he is getting salary for it. The employer becomes the owner of the work. If in case he has done it in freelancing manner, then it's all based on the contract, between the person, the employer and the employee. At times the contract might differ also. So, or if in case he has done some work which is totally not relevant to his work atmosphere, on his own, he is a very good photographer. He has taken a photo, or he is so good at writing stories. He is writing and send it to magazines. Then he becomes the if it is out of his office hours, not during the course of work, then he becomes the owner. Or else if it is a part of his employment, the employer is the owner. And next, let's talk about the student and university relationship. Students are giving lot of assignments. Students, you will be giving lot of assignments, even your answer scripts, everything has got copyright on it. But actually you are not the owner. You are doing it for the academic purpose. So the university becomes the owner for it. And when we discuss on this faculty and university, if a faculty is writing an article and publishing in any international journals or some chapters in books, anything it may be, if it is on his or her own interest, then he is the author as well as the owner. He can give it to publication to any other publishers. But if the university has asked the faculties to write a book on the course of employment as a part of their curriculum, or the faculties are preparing some book handbooks or guide to students, if it's been asked by the university or the college, then in that case it becomes it is during the course of employment. As I already said, employer-employee relationship, then the faculty is the author always, because he is the person who has created it, but the ownership goes to the university or the college to which the faculty has given the content. Yes, now let's see. I'm keep on telling about two people in this copyright. That is, one is author and another is owner. Sometimes the same person may be author as well as the owner. You have drawn a beautiful picture. You are hanging it on your in your home wall. Then you are the author for it and you are owning it now. So it belongs to you. No, I have drawn it. I'm just going to sell it off. Okay, now you are selling the work. So the work, the painting gets transferred to another person. That another person becomes the owner of your work. Now, author has always got certain rights. Okay, I'll tell you in this way. If you are having a property, you are having a land. Okay, now you want to sell the land. You are selling the land. Now, can you say that for the past 50 years, I was the one who was holding this land? Just because I have sold you, you can't restrict me. I will come and sit in your home. I will come and sit in your land. Can you say, can you use that land? No, because the entire ownership will get transferred in sale and even in any other intellectual property. Even patent, the inventor will give away the rights to the company. If a person is coming up with a medicine or coming up with an invention and giving it to some other company, then the company will become the owner. Yes, of course, he is the inventor, but he doesn't have any rights over it. Once it is sold, that's all. But whereas in copyright, the author's moral rights are protected. Even though you have sold you have given away your rights, you have assigned your rights to some other person, you still have hold in that particular property. That is particular intellectual property which has been created by you. That we have two different types of right for author. That is, we call it as author's moral right, right of paternity and right of integrity. Right of paternity is right to claim authorship. Yes, since that he has the publisher has taken away the right from you to publish all your books, he cannot. Any problem? Am I audible? Shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Yes. Thank you. I heard some voice, so I thought I have to stop. Okay, so that is first is right to paternity. Just because the publisher has taken the right to publish your works, he cannot have someone's name as author, or he cannot exclude your name while printing. Okay, so you have always got the right to claim authorship over the product. You can anytime you can say that is my work. You have got all the rights. That is right to paternity. And next is, say, for example, you are working in a college, you are preparing a handouts and you have given it to your college. Now you are leaving this college and joining somewhere. can the college or the university say that no, this is not your work, you have left us. When you are here, you worked like as a part of your job, you did this, so I'm the owner, you cannot climb. No, that is not possible. Whatever the years may be, how long it may be, the author has always got right to climb the authorship. Okay, the right to climb the authorship alone. And next is right to integrity. This is very important. That is right to object any modification of the work. I've written a book, I have given it to a publisher, and now the publisher himself do any modification in the content? No, my reputation will get spoiled. Any modification, the publisher, that is the owner, has to get permission from the author. It is mandatory. Or else, if they are doing, so even in the movies and all, in cinemas, you would have seen in the songs and all, the director or the producer will request the lyric writer to change some words. They themselves cannot do it. It is against law. It is against this a particular category, right to integrity. So even though we give away our rights to some other person, to the owner, even then the author, the creator, has always got certain rights attached to the work. That is right to paternity and right to integrity. And there is a very famous case in India, Amarnath Shekhar. He is a person who made this in Vigyan Bhavan in Delhi. He made a bronze murals. Okay. And one point of time, after some 20 years, it has been kept in Vigyan Bhavan. And after some 20 years, when they renovated the Vigyan Bhavan, they removed all the murals from that hall, and they... Shall I continue?
Yeah, ma'am. Continue, ma'am.
Yes. I'm getting a disturbance. Yes. Okay. In Vigyan Bhavan, what happened is when they renovated the hall after 20 years, they just removed and put every murals of Amarnath Shekhar in a storeroom kind of thing. It was not treated properly. Now Amarnath Shekhar went up to the court and filed a case that his work, he is so good at all those artistic works, his works are not treated in a right way, and it affects his moral rights, it affects his integrity. So the court immediately ordered to revive back and place it again, or it has to be given some due importance. It cannot be kept in like a dump yard or in a storeroom. The respect of the work is more important. So it is right to paternity and right to integrity are two important things which is there with the author even after he give away the rights to some other person and another person becomes the owner. Next, I'll move on to a very interesting case. This is monkey selfie case, and it is very well attached to the concept for artificial intelligence as well. Here, what happened is David Slater, he's a photographer, he's a wildlife photographer. He went to Indonesia and he clicked some photos. He arranged his camera and his tripod, and he arranged all the angles in a forest, in a dense forest. He's so much interested in taking photos of animals and all. So he arranged everything in a forest. When he was arranging his tripod and setting all angles, he's a British photographer, and setting all the angles, what happened is a group of monkeys came. A group of monkeys came and it started playing with the camera, and one monkey clicked its own picture. So this is the actual picture which is clicked by the monkey in David Slater's camera. Okay. So what happened is a company posted okay. Hope I'm audible. There are some technical glitches. Can anyone say yes? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what happened is the group of monkeys came and attacked, and it started playing with the camera, and gradually one monkey clicked the photograph, and this is the actual photo. And what happened is this picture was posted in a website saying that this is the first picture which is clicked by a monkey, not a human being. And David Slater sued that by saying that I am the owner, that is, he holds the copyright, though it's not taken by him. Even in India, we have this definition. It is not for the person who clicks the photo becomes the owner. As I told you in the previous slides, the person who clicks the photo becomes the photographer. And what he added is, I had arranged and it simply clicked the photo. So the camera was mine, the angles was mine. It just played and it clicked the photo, so that I am the owner of the photo. But the dispute between the company and the David Slater went to an extent that the US PTO had come to explanation stating that only to humans the copyright can be given and not to animals. So we can't grant copyright to an animal. Now, subsequently, another interesting turn in this case, this PETA, the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, they entered and filed a suit at this point and stated that we are the next friend for animal, and since the monkey holds the copyright, so hereafter if anyone wants to use the picture, they must pay royalty to PETA, and it filed a case in the US District Court of California that the monkey is the owner and it should be given all the rights. Now the case was dismissed and it went to the appeal and it was settled out of the court actually. Basically, the concept is the animal cannot hold any copyright. The copyright will be given only to the human being. Now, I would like to connect this case with the artificial intelligence. There is the upcoming areas. One is artificial intelligence. You would have known about this. Many picture also have come. Cinemas also have come with regard to this. If something is done by a non-human, then who is the owner? In case of artificial intelligence, if you are having a robot and the robot is performing something, who becomes liable for the act done by the robot? So since it's a non-human, the copyright protection cannot be given. So at the same time, to whom the responsibility goes with is the question which is going around in the field of artificial intelligence. Now I'll move on to the rights of the copyright holder. What are the rights the copyright holders have got? We say that right to copy, just that. Is there anything else? Yes, it is right to copy. That is one important thing. We can just say from the word itself. Other things are right to reproduce a work. That is any number of publications, any number of any sort of copies can be produced. So that right is given to the copyright holder. Here I'm talking about the owner's part. And next is the right to prepare derivative works. Derivative works are adaptations, translations. For example, if you have written a book in Kannada, if you don't know Tamil, but if you want to translate the book into Tamil, you can give that right to some other person. So the translation right, again, that is a translation work, again, it is a new copyright. So initially I told you that copyright is a bundle of right. You can do many derivative works with one single work. A story can be taken up as a drama. A story can be taken up as a song, a story to a cinematograph film, a story to many other languages, a story as a picture. We have seen Ramayana, Mahabharata, and all in the pictorial representations also. So many derivative works are possible with regard to copyrights. So right to do the derivative works is also one important right, and each and every right has got copyright on its own. And distribute copies, and in case of any drama you have written or screenplay, you have the right to perform. You have written a song, you have the right to perform, you have the right to sing. All those rights are attached over here. Next, let's see the term of copyright. How long you hold the right. Patent, trademarks and all, you would have seen the 20 years for patent, trademarks. It is renewal is possible. But whereas copyright renewal is not possible, but the term itself is long period. It is lifetime of the author plus 60 years. lifetime. If you are writing something, if you are creating, coming up with a creation which in which the copyright subsists, if at the age of 20 you are living up to till 90 years, till about until that 70 years plus one more 60 years will be added. So this copyright gets transferred to your legal heirs also. Your legal heirs like inheritance, these will be enjoyed. The royalties and all will be enjoyed by your legal heirs. So lifetime of the author plus 60 years, the copyright will be there in the work. After that, the work will come to the public domain. Here in Chennai, we have the famous Kannada poet Savigna's statue over here. He's a 16th century poet from Karnataka. For example, if he has written, he has contributed a lot in literature. All the rights are now might be with the all the rights are have come to public domain since he belongs to the 16th century. If some other person has written some story, some literary work, some creation, some 40-50 years back, then now at this point, if he is not alive, his legal heirs will be enjoying the royalties out of the work. So lifetime, throughout the lifetime plus 60 years is the period. And in case of cinematography work and sound recordings, it is not from the date of the author, from the after the lifetime of the author, it is from the date of publication. From the date of publication, 60 years, for 60 years, copyright subsists. Later, it comes to public domain. Anybody can make use of it. And for in case of anonymous work and pseudonymous work, anonymous work is the work where you doesn't know who the owner is, but the contents are too good and it has to be published. Yes, publication can be carried out. If one point of time you come to know the person and he is alive, again the term starts from his lifetime and it goes again after his death, 60 years after his death. And pseudonymous work is for people who write with the pen name. At times, we will not be in a position to find out who has done it. We will not be in a position to find who the actual person is, just with the help of the pen name. So in that case also, if you want to, it has to be published. Then from the date of publication, the term is 60 years. If in case in between, again, we've come to know and the person is good enough to prove that he is the actual author, again, it will start from the lifetime of the author plus 60 years. So the other areas and all, it is from the date of publication. So literary, artistic, musical work, it is lifetime of the author. And for cinematography and sound recording, it is from the date of publication. Okay, what happens if someone copies your work? You have written an excellent article and some excellent story for a movie, and someone has taken up your work. You have always got certain remedies attached to the work. So any infringement, so we are doing this plagiarism test and all for articles, and any sort of infringements can be taken up. That's what I told you in the beginning itself. The registration is not mandatory. If you are able to prove that the work belongs to you and you are the one who has created it at first, then it has been copied. If you are able to prove that, then there are remedies available. We have got civil remedies as well as criminal remedies and administrative remedies. Copying is not just a civil remedy, it is an offense as well. So there are criminal remedies available. And we have got administrative remedies. It will be taken up through the Register of Copyrights, and the remedies can be sorted. And now let me explain you the other areas in Copyright Act. One is fair use. Okay, what is this fair use? Not every act is an infringement. You have written a book. I'm just like that copying. I'm giving it to some other publisher. I'm publishing it. You have written a book in English. I'm translating into my into Kannada and I'm publishing it. Then it is an infringement. But fair use is a very important concept. To some extent, someone's work can be taken up and can be used, especially for educational purposes. you students all have the habit of buying one book. One student will buy one book for a class, in a class, and all others, some 10 to 20 people will be taking photocopies, that is Xerox from the book, which is going to cost very less. If, for example, if the book is 400 rupees, some 300, 350 pages, it's going to cost you only 150 rupees for you to take a Xerox along with a spiral binding and all. So many students are doing it. Is that an infringement or not? Yes, actually, taking a copy of a book is actually an infringement. But here, if it is for an educational purpose, it comes under fair use. So it is not an infringement. But instead, if a student is buying a book, he is making of copies, nearly 30 copies for all his classmates, and he is selling it for 150 rupees. He has spent for each copy, but he is selling it for 250 rupees. There is a commercial benefit. Then that becomes an infringement. So if it is for an educational purpose, it can be used. And even in the broadcasting and all, we have got recording facilities now in the DTH and all, and we are recording the programs. In case if we have missed the programs, we can watch it later. You have given some privileges to record through the connection itself. So you will always obviously feel that it is a legal activity and no wrong in recording. So so some people will think, they'll go to the other step. If I'm having a recording, why don't I make some copies and sell it? Because it's in a huge demand. It's an interesting program, it's an interesting series or interesting match. I want to make copies and sell it out. That is infringement. You are recording something for your own personal use, then that is not an infringement. So a substantial part has been copied and the entire work is created, that becomes an infringement. You are using the content for educational purpose or personal uses, not at all involved in not at all involved in any commercial benefits, then that is not an infringement. That is always permitted. Section 52 of Copyright Act says that fair use is available. Here, there is a point. There is a human rights perspective. Everyone, now we are in the 4th generation of human rights. Everybody has got the right to access to knowledge, has got the right to access to knowledge. This access to knowledge entirely comes under the intellectual property. So the reason behind giving intellectual property protection, not only copyright, I'm talking about the intellectual property itself. The reason behind giving intellectual property protection is not only to encourage the creator or the inventor. In turn, it helps. It is helping the public. It is helping the entire crowd, the entire population, the entire world to go to the next stage. Only through inventions and creations, we all have come to this up to this level. So access to know, even this online classes, online webinars are itself is a good, very, very good example. Just a couple of years back, I was not aware of the Zoom, Gmeet, WebEx, Microsoft Teams Meet. Many are there now. Due to technological development, even in this during pandemic period, we are able to connect with each other. Students are learning. We faculties are learning a lot through these webinars, seminars, workshops. So it's all technological development. Only through intellectual property it has become possible. So access to knowledge is one important area at this juncture. The human rights is there in the right from civil, political rights, economic, social rights. Now the human rights is access to knowledge. So we are in that position. So there is high demand for intellectual property. People started getting more awareness because whatever you write, whatever you create, even a small invention, you work it out, it can apply to industrial process, a patent can be given. So everything is a knowledge. All knowledge are making us grow, and through the knowledge we ourselves grow economically, as well as all type of growth is there, to be very simple. And next, I just want to let you know about the compulsory licensing. So fair use that is that everyone should have some access to the content, because intellectual property is not only for the private, it is for private interest, it is for both public and private interest. So to some extent, the fair use should be there. So it is permitted for students for reporting the news. Even in government channels, if they are taking some clips from ESPN or Star Sports to broadcast while they are reading news, some important goals, some screenshots of the match which happened elsewhere, they will say that picture courtesy, video courtesy ESPN. So that along with the term, when they use, it comes under fair use. Even for reporting the news, for doing some presentation, if I'm taking some photograph, all those things comes under. The symbol I have posted is the C in the round is copyright, along with the blue symbol. It means that it is fair use, it is permissible. And next is compulsory licensing. You all would have heard this widely in patent, and I would like to say that compulsory licensing is available for copyright also. So if a content, if a copyright subsisting content is not available to the public, then the compulsory licensing can be taken up. Compulsory licensing is non-voluntary licensing. As I told, like any other property, this intellectual property can also be transferred, can also be licensed, assigned to anyone. Licensing is voluntary licensing. When we say this compulsory licensing, it is non-voluntary licensing. That is, the inventor or the creator doesn't have interest to make it available to the public, and it's not coming up, but he has got the protection. So he is restricting others from using it, because like all the monopoly rights, the exclusive rights, all is there with the author. So if he is not making it available, if someone else is coming up with, then it will become infringement. Now who gets affected because of this? It is the people who gets affected. So there is a provision called compulsory licensing. If the author is not making it available, then compulsory licensing can be taken up, and anybody, the government, the registrar of the copyright will grant this licensing, and it can be published by any other. And more than copyright, it helps a lot with regard to patents, and especially for medicines in pharma industries. Next, there is a concept called copy left. It is just a play in word. Copyright and solramai. This is a play in the word copy left. What does it mean? It means that if you have written a good article, if you have taken an excellent picture, if you have made a excellent musical work, and you don't want the right to be with you alone, you just want to let it free, then you can upload, you can circulate without expecting any royalty, remuneration and all. With this symbol, the right side symbol with the inverted C in the circle, if you are uploading it, then anybody can make use of it. There is no right substance in it. So it's a play in the term. We call it as copy left. Okay, now I would like to take up few examples, few areas which overlaps with one or two intellectual property. Yesterday, Shalini madam was talking about this trade packaging, trademarks, all those things. You would have seen many captions. Even the picture will be one and the same. So many times, if the trademark is one and the same, if it is similar or identical, it will go to the trademark infringement. If this overall packaging or the artistic work which is there in the packaging, which misleads the consumer, then the actual owner can claim for that artistic work in copyrights. This is one thing. And there is an overlapping area in designs as well. How come this design comes up? Industrial design is one important area in intellectual property. So if you are drawing something, then that has got copyright, right? You are designing an excellent design for a car. That design, you are making it in your computer or through your hands, you are drawing something that initially we create, it has got copyright. Now you are giving it to some car manufacturers and are going to apply to cars through an industrial process. So then from that time onwards, it will have the industrial design protection. So there are few areas with related to this intellectual properties to 2 or 3 more areas also. Many a times it comes under, but since everything is a creation or an invention, or it is either through a single person or a group of people, like geographical indications and all, every area has been protected. Every area which is created by human mind is protected under intellectual property law. So that's all about my presentation. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I thank the principal sir, Nirikshan Singh sir, all other organizers, and my friend Shalini for introducing me to this college. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Hello.
On behalf of the institution and all the participants, I thank you, madam, for this lucid, gracious, and exclusive presentation on copyrights. Now, I request the rapporteur of this session, Sanjeev sir, to take the charge of the session. Over to Sanjeev sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam, for the outstanding presentation today.
Yes, sir. Thank
It
you.
was very creative and kind of artistic PPT I saw there. And through this, we can easily understand how much hardship and concern we have taken to prepare this. And thanks for a very interesting talk regarding the copyrights. Now, this floor is open for question and answer. For just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions into the chat box. Don't forget to mention your name, please. So, I am just checking the questions whether people have asked or not. What is the best way? Okay, ma'am. Here is one question I am looking at, given by Maresha. What is the best way to find plagiarism?
See, for plagiarism, now we have got a lot of softwares. Every college, software and all. So this is the best way to post your article and find out the plagiarism.
Okay.
Software.
So I don't see much.
Literary areas are huge. Many articles.
Elaborately explain everything, and particularly, you started from the property, and from there you started the copyright, the subject matter of right, whose rights are protected, rights of copyright holder, theme, term of copyright, remedies, and you ended with takeaway kind of things. I don't think, but I had a small question while you are presenting. So I have taken one good slide through this screenshot. A day after tomorrow, I am going to international seminar to take that slide. And there I am using. Is it the violation of copyright?
Yes, sir. Actually, PPT also has got copyright protection. Actually, then again, I told you about the fair use. If it is for some educational purposes, you are not making money out of it, then it's not a problem. And as long as you doesn't put the name of author, many copyrights we use to give that C and Aarti Ratna. C and the company name or the college name. It means that the copyright belongs to them. And if you are using it for the educational purposes, then it's not a problem because you're not making money out of it. It's not commercial purposes are not there. So that's not a problem. As long as you leave the author's name as such and doing it, it means that right to integrity is there, right to paternity is there. And you're not making any other changes also. So author's moral rights are protected. And as long as with regard to the owner concept, you're not making monetary benefit out of it. So it's not a problem at all. There are a lot of exceptions and space for others to use the work. That's what I insisted on, access to knowledge. Everything should be available. The reason behind giving intellectual property is for the benefit of the public, not only for the creator and the inventor. It should reach the public. Whatever we create, you cannot see, we lost so much of tradition. We are so, Indians are so good at home remedies, medicines, a lot of things we are so good at, but we lost everything just because one group of people, one set of people, one community of people said that it is a right for only for us. We should not let it know to others. So that's the reason we lost many things in our country. So at least from now onwards, we should know the rights which is available for us, and we should spread it. And in turn, we also should get benefited out of it through the proper registration and taking up necessary measures with the help of intellectual property laws.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. One more question is there.
Yes, sir.
Is sharing material in social media like WhatsApp for education purpose is infringement of copyright?
No, not at all. Again, educational purposes, nothing is wrong. You all study and get knowledge. Nothing is wrong if it is for educational purposes. It can be done.
Okay, one more question from...
Only thing is, people should not post an entire article and at the end saying that this is prepared by me. That is the only problem. If that is not the case, then it's not a problem at all.
Okay, ma'am. One more question from Radhika MS.
Question.
Yes.
That is, you told that the moral right has been protected, but what about the financial right has not been protected there? If we share it in a WhatsApp, the entire study material or book, their moral rights is protected. What about the financial rights?
Fair use, educational purposes, nothing is wrong. You don't make copies and sell it, you don't get the commercial benefits. That's all. Or else it should be available to the public. That is the motto of protecting intellectual property. Whatever the creation, you are creating it, that should reach the public. In turn, it should help the public. Even in case of other industrial properties and all, if the product is not useful, then you won't get patent at all. You won't get industrial designs. You won't get any protection from that. So the end reason for giving protection, the end reason is for the larger community human rights, which goes to the, as a human right to the larger people. It is not for the benefit of one single person. For your benefit, some royalty is given. You are given the right, you are given the status of, you are the author. Fine. You can make some monetary benefits, that is fine. For that, you cannot, you should make it available to the public. You cannot have reserved for your own. So for anything for the educational purpose, it comes to value. You do not worry about it. You should not stick your name and take away the author's name, which affects the integrity.
Okay, but another question, the rights has been given for 60 years, you told. After 60 years, can I put name in the someone else book and sell it?
Yes, yes. That affects author's moral right? Name all you cannot use as it is yours. Okay, that affects author is the person. He is always the author, whether he is alive or not. You take up Savigny's literary work and write your name and say that it's you who has written it. No, not possible, right? We have even in Tamil Nadu,
what is the legal implications for that if I did like that?
Anybody can sue you because it has come to public domain. You cannot claim ownership. It has come to public domain. It is the property of the public hereafter. Anybody can use it. It affects the author's moral right. Even the author's legal heirs can file a case and claim for right to integrity and paternity. Right to claim authorship is there always with the author, not with anyone. Ownership will come to an end after lifetime of the author plus 60 years. But author is a person who always has got certain rights. You cannot make any changes at all. Hope I am clear.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Madam, one more question from Radhika MS. What is the difference between copyright and copyleft?
That's what I told. Copyright, you hold the right. You say that I am the content creator, I hold the right. Copyleft is you just left out your right. Anybody can use it. You need not wait for me to die, and after that 60 years, my family will be having the right over it. Now itself, I'm leaving it to the public domain. Anybody can make use of my article. Okay. Like the inventor of the medicine polio. What he did, he said, I don't want any patent grants. Let all the people get benefited because of this polio vaccination. So he didn't claim any polio patent grant for his polio vaccination. So many got benefited. The same way in copyright, we have a concept called copyleft. If you like your article to reach many and many can make use of it, you can leave it in such a way also. But many are doing it. If they are writing some 400, 500 pages book, all their knowledge is given and they too want some monetary benefits. If it is some little articles or some gist of articles, some guide kind of thing, it is very small. If professors and faculties at times, what they do is they upload their articles and they'll put this copy left symbol and they say that anybody can make use of it. At least by studying this, year after you take good classes and you write your exams well. So not a problem.
Sir,
yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sanjeev sir,
Thank you.
I have a question. Sanjeev sir, I have a question. Madam, can you please brief on the difference between like copyright and licensing in a very simple way?
Copyright and licensing is, see, copyright, the author who creates. If I'm creating something, I am the author, fine. I am the first owner also. Now I'm giving license to some other person to publish my work. Okay, now I'll be the author and he becomes the owner. I have given all my rights to publish this content in this particular language. It is a contract between me and that person. I'm giving a license to him. Here onwards, for example, I'm writing a book. And I'm giving to Eastern Law Publishers. Now this Eastern Law Publishers holds the licensing right to publish my books anywhere. They can publish, they can reprint, they can do anything. But if in case they want to do any changes, modification, they have to take my permission. They have to ask me to do it. Or else with my permission, if some laws have been amended, some changes has to be included in their next reprint, then I should be the one who has to give permission to do such changes. So the licensing, whatever I have given, he has got the right to publish it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I think all the queries have been addressed by respected Aarti madam, and it's the right time to wrap up this session today. Once again, ma'am, I'm heartily thanking you for your informative and interesting discussion today, and I am also thanking all the audience for your active participation. Hopefully, the presentation will be visible to everyone. And thank you once again, ma'am, and thank you for your attention. Over to Pallavi madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sanjeev Kumar sir. Moving ahead to the valedictory ceremony, I request Dr. Vijay Kumar sir to present a brief report of this National Virtual Workshop on Intellectual Property Rights. Over to Vijay sir.
Thank you, madam. Most respected, our today's chief guest, Professor Somshekarappa, former professor of sociology, Karnataka University, Dharwad, and from the registered Karnataka Folklore University, Haveri. Professor Aarti Ratna, our today's resource person. The president of the workshop, Honorable Principal, Dr. G. Narayana, Shri H.T. Devegowda, Government First Grade College. My dear professional comrades and all participants, my remote namaskar to everyone. Indeed, it's my great pleasure and a privilege to start before you the 4 days National Workshop Report on Awareness of Intellectual Property Rights. With the increasing focus on innovation, research, and cross-border collaborations, it has become essential to all researchers to safeguard our inventions. In contemporary times, the research is translational and it transforms into services or products. Intellectual property rights are the one that helps in protecting and commercialization of our products. These are the ones that give a competitive advantage to the inventors and entrepreneurs. As countries like India turn to innovation and creativity for sustainable development at the global level, our researchers, especially the young fellows, need to understand the importance of IPR has increased. In this context, the workshop has envisioned all of us by bringing the elite professionals in the field of IPR to discuss and deliberate the contemporary issues in this area. Government of Karnataka, Department of Collegiate and Technical Education Shri H.D. Devegowda Government First Grade College, in association with the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, organized this workshop over Zoom platform from 28 June to 1st July 2021 and also live streamed in the YouTube channel. This workshop was divided into 4 technical sessions spread across these 4 days. Total 505 students registered for this workshop, including the scholars from Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, Gujarat, Maharashtra, as well as from Andhra Pradesh. This is quite encouraging and motivation for the organizing committee. Friends, the inauguration of the workshop was held on 28 June 2021 at 11:30 a.m. It started with a prayer invoking the blessings of Lord Ganesha with a melodious rendered by Sumant Jagdish, a second-year MSW student. Professor Vidya, faculty, Department of Commerce, briefed the theme of the workshop and also the sub-theme of the workshop in a more delineate manner that how this workshop deliberation is going to take place in these 4 days. The chief guest of the function, Shri H.D. Revanaji, Honorable MLA, Valedictory constituency, and former Minister, Government of Karnataka, as well as the CDC President, Shri H.D. Devegowda, Government First Grade College, through his message, congratulated the organizers on the workshop theme, the management and the faculty for organizing this national workshop. He opened his message by mentioning this institution has got B grade with the 2.70 CGPA in its first NAT cycle and also RUSA accreditation. He also admired the growth of the institution is remarkable in providing the quality higher education, even though the college is situated in a rural setup. Dr. A. Ramegowda, Professor and Chairman, Department of Sociology, and former Registrar, OMP University, delivered his keynote address. He highlighted, in this knowledge-based economy, the IPR is very much essential for progressive societal development of any nation. In this background, he urged our policymakers to include IPR in our basic educational system and promote IPR registration by encouraging the innovations among the students. In the first technical session, Dr. M.N. Bhimesh, Senior Advisor, ALM Legal, Bangalore, gave a talk on an overview of IPR. He explained the fundamentals of IPR by listing a lot of real-life examples. He said, our minds are the IPR, we need to protect that. He also encouraged our college faculty and students should come up with some new inventions and advised on how to protect them by the IPR laws. Dr. G.D. Narayanan, the principal of the institution, has delivered the presidential speech. He said, IPR production plays a key role in gaining a completely advantage in terms of a technology gain for achieving a higher economic growth. Hence, creating awareness about IPR is very much essential. In the second day of the workshop, Dr. I.G. Ratish, Assistant Professor at Cochin University of Science and Technology, gave a talk on an overview of a patent system in India. He listed out the rules for patent filing for an innovation and also compared its merits and demerits with those in the foreign countries. He explained the rights and exceptions for patent filing. Overall, inconcisely, he cleared many of our common doubts regarding the patent system and also gave an information on where and how to file a patent in India. Dr. G.D. Narayanan, the president of the workshop, gave his remarks. He said, this session enlightened all of us by clearing many of the misconceptions regarding the patent filing. Moving to the third day of the program, we had Ms. L. Shalini, faculty, School of Excellence in Law, Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai, as a resource person. Her talk was on an overview of a trademark. She explained how the trademark law has begun, why its importance have been developed. She also highlighted the role and the functions of the trademark. With a lot of examples, she engaged the session with full of joy. There was a lot of interaction with participants. The presidential remarks were given by Dr. G.D. Narayana, the principal of the institution. He explained quite nicely the difference between the patents and trademarks. Patents are granted over a period of time, whereas trademarks never ends. Okay, and in the last day of the program, that is today, the resource person, Professor Artiratna, Faculty, School of Excellence in Law, Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai, gave her talk on an overview of copyright. She made this topic so simple that even a layman can understand about copyrights. She explained many things about the topic, like literary work, artistic work, musical work, all these things can be copyrighted. And madam, your example on university student relationship and that monkey selfie case were very much interesting. Thank you for your talk. Our today's chief guest, Dr. Somshekhar Sir, will be delivering the valedictory address of this national workshop. Followed by this, the head of the institution, Dr. G.D. Narayana, will give his presidential remarks. In overall, the workshop went very well. The resource persons appreciated the organizing committee for bringing so many scholars in one platform, at least virtually in these difficult times. We received the feedback from many participants. They are extremely happy about the workshop, both intellectually, scholarly, and technically. Finally, I take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. G.D. Narayana, the principal of the institution, CDC, Alumni Association, Teachers and Parents Association, the invited speakers, the organizing committee members, technical committee members, all the rapporteurs, and all the staff of Shri H.D. Devegowda Government First Grade College. And above all, I thank each one of the participants who put all the efforts through their knowledge sharing and sincere feedbacks, without which this workshop, I would say, would not be more meaningful. A big round of applause to each one of the participants. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Vijay sir, for such a brief and clear report of the workshop. Today we have Dr. C.A. Somashekharappa sir, formerly Professor and Chairman, Department of PG Studies and Research in Sociology, Karnataka University, Dharwad, and also the founder registrar of Karnataka Folklore University as the chief guest for the valedictory function. We are honored to have such an eminent personality amongst us. Now, Purushottam V, Assistant Professor of History, will introduce Dr. C.A. Somashekharappa sir. Over to you, Purushottam sir.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon, one and all. I am Purushottam, Assistant Professor, Sri H.D. Devegowda, First Grade College, Odulippe. It gives me an immense pleasure and proud to introduce to this august gathering eminent scholar and a good administrator, Dr. C.S. Somashekharappa sir, Professor and Chairman, Department of Sociology, Karnataka University, Dharwad. He served as a founder, Register of Karnataka Folklore University, Haveri. He has successfully guided 27 PhDs and 12 MPhils. And also, he has evaluated more than 60 doctoral theses and 15 MPhil dissertation of various universities of India. He has completed 3 major and 7 minor research projects sanctioned by the UGC and ICSSR. He has published 53 research papers in international and national level journals and presented more than 100 research papers, delivered plenary talks, inaugural addresses, and chaired technical sessions in international and national level conference, workshop, and symposia. He has penned 13 books in different areas of sociology and also contributed around 41 chapters in curriculum books of various universities. He was awarded as the best NSS coordinator by the government of Karnataka for his extension services at Karnataka University, and also university was awarded as Best University for implementing NSS programs. He served as elected member of the Managing Committee of Indian Sociological Society and also served as president of Karnataka Sociology Association. He was nominated by the UGC to the Advisor Committee UGC SAP DRS 2nd Shivaji University, Kolhapura. And he was the nominee of ICSSR to observe the conduct of capacity building programs for social science teachers held at RCU Belgaum. He also nominated by the government of Karnataka to the Karnataka Central Social Welfare Board, and also he was empaneled by the search committee for vice chancellorship of Davangere University. With this brief introduction, now let me welcome Professor Somshekhar sir to address this gathering. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Purushottam sir. Now, I request our esteemed chief guest, Dr. C.A. Somashekharappa sir, to deliver the valedictory address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Namaskara. Ellargu namaskara. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
And also videoable. Okay. I mean to say that I could be seen by everyone who is on the line. Okay. At the outset, let me thank Professor, the Principal, Dr. J.D. Narayan, who initiated me into this program, which of course I have accepted with little hesitation, mainly because intellectual property right is predominantly a domain, as of course we all of us know, and also in the academic arena today, it is considered to be an issue of what is called as the legal professionals, law academics, etc., etc. But then I said, I should accept and see how best we can relate the subject matter to sociology. Okay, before I move on to the subject matter, I would like to speak about. Let me say a few words about what is called as the Sri H.D. Devegowda College, which is located in a far isolated place to an outsider like me, and maybe several other speakers from Tamil Nadu, who of course contributed their ideas to this webinar, and also many like me. But otherwise, of course, it has made a name. Indeed, it is what is called as an institution on the national map, for the simple reason that it has a lot of what is called as the credits achieved by the principal and the faculty and the whole team together, what they have been able to do for the college. In fact, initially when Professor Narayan had referred to me, that is there as a principal holding additional charge of Paduvala Hippe, I had asked him as to where it is. Though being a man from Karnataka, that to central Karnataka, I never knew much about what is called as the places in that area. And then when he told me that as to what is the background in which of course a college has been established at Paduvala Hippe and all that, then I started realizing, possibly there could be a place like this, people like H.D. Revanna and few others who have been really concerned about what is called as the development of the society, the local society. And I'm happy to learn from the principal that there are about 800 plus students, largely drawn from what is called as the rural areas, largely belonging again to what is called as economically weaker sections and all that. And I'm really happy that the institution has been rendering its services to the people in the local area who would perhaps make what is called as their dreams, achieve their dreams fulfilled. Maybe the dream of getting educated, getting into what is called as some jobs, etc., etc. And I'm sure all that will be, say, realized through this college. And my kudos to, say, kudos in the sense, I congratulate the principal and the whole faculty. Maybe I think, as he was making a mention about, there are nearly 80 to 85 faculty members in the college. Maybe some are on regular basis and some are on visiting basis, etc., etc. But all of them contribute their might, say, to make what is called as the dreams of the student realized, and also the objectives with which the institution is brought into, say, effect or brought into life in that area by what is called as, say, the visionaries, the local visionaries like Revanna and several others. And in fact, some time back, Professor Narayan had invited me, say, to participate in some program of the college, but I could not make it to then. And had I had come then, perhaps I would have had what is called as a first-hand, say the first-hand idea about, as to say, what way it is built and how it is operated and all that. But anyway, and now I have the chance, I have the opportunity to be with you all and to be associating myself with what is called as the Sri Devegowda Government First Grade College at Padavalahippe, and the whole lot of you. Thank you. Say thanks a lot, and thank you very much. As I was making a mention earlier, that IPR is largely an area, as a subject area, being dealt with by the legal professionals. Then I thought, I should explore into, as to say, what is there for a sociologist to relate himself with the area of, or with the subject area of intellectual property rights. In my opinion, in my consideration, intellectual property right, I suppose, as an academic issue, could be an issue for sociologists, economists, and say a lot other what are called as, say, the specialists working in different areas like political science, etc., etc. And well, of course, we have started hearing much about IPR only in the recent times. Maybe I think, it has been a sort of a talk like, well, in the public for last, say, few decades. Well, but otherwise, it was not all that heard of. Maybe I think, maybe from 1970s and 1980s. I think, very precisely from 1980s, when the process of globalization was mooted, say, relating what is called as all the societies for the purpose of selling goods, services, etc., etc. The IPR Act, perhaps, maybe in certain countries like India and few other developing, are being countries developed, underdeveloped or developing countries, which wanted to hook on to what is called as the whole process of globalization. They also had to think of having what is called as some legal, say, provisions in order to deal with the issue of the property right. To me, it appears the intellectualism or intellectual, the idea of intellectuality, so to say, the creativity. What, in other words, we understand that intellectual means, anything that is generated from out of the human mind. I mean, articulately, whoever can, say, generate an idea, which could be translated into a reality. That becomes what is called as an intellectual aspect, an intellectual content. And where and when that intellectual creation or an intellectual output is given what is called as, say, a sort of a control over it by the producer, the generator, then it becomes what is called as a property of the one who has generated, the one who has created. We need to know here that it's not that it's only in the recent past or in the recent years, the intellectual creativity amongst human beings has got developed. Well, but otherwise, as a student of sociology and as particularly a student of social history, I would like to say that the intellectual creativity has been known to the human beings from the time immemorial. Maybe because of the intellectual creativity, perhaps, possibly, the human beings could come together, organize together, live together, manage themselves together in a group, in an organization, or in an association. And as such, without the intellectual creativity or articulative thinking, articulative, what is called as articulatively creating an idea, articulatively generating an idea, articulatively working out as to say how they should make their living together, life together for the day, for the future, etc. While also say perhaps think about what is called as conserving all that they had in the past. All that is something, as I pointed out, pretty old, pretty say belonging to the from the earliest time or the earliest stage till today. So that way, it's not something very new to the human say society. Say that intellectual say property is what is called as has been the domain of the human beings or human what is known as say the groups. So that way, in my understanding, the history of what is called as human society is supposed to be considered as the history of intellectual creativity. Say if man had lacked intellectual creativity, I think we would not have, or man would not have grown to this extent. Man would not have, as a community, as a society, would not have evolved to this extent. Society has evolved. Suppose as a student, I need to relate, say, the intellectual creativity to that of the evolution of human society. Let me just refer to you to what is called as the idea of the evolution of human society. What, of course, Auguste Comte say talks about it as what is called as, say, the law of three stages, where he talks about the evolution of the society, that what has happened in three stages, like say the theological stage, the metaphysical stage, and the empirical stage. The empirical stage is the one in which we are. But you look at what is called as, say, the theological age, the human creativity of different human groups, of different human societies all over the world, from say across what is called as, say, the globe, that what they have been able to generate, that what they have been able to create, and say bring them into practice. Like maybe suppose we talk about Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc., and see so many gods, goddesses, the idols, and the worshipping of those things, and the whole thing that surrounds. All that is there not only in Indian society, in every human group, and perhaps it is that which has given scope for the individuals in group to live together, to organize themselves together, to work towards achieving the goals of the society, etc., etc. So if this has not been what is called as, say, the nature amongst the human beings, or if by nature, if by what is called as, say, out of sheer capacity to create, human beings had not created anything. I mean, all that is a mental creation, I should say. I don't think, say, we would have seen civilizations coming into being so early. We talk about what is called as the Harappa Mohenjo-daro civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, Egyptian civilization, Greek, Rome, Athens civilizations. Look at what is called as, say, all that what they had created, and which are of course found in the debris of the nature, wherever, say, they were there in existence. I mean, all that was, say, the civilization that what we recognize and consider, it was a sheer human creativity. It's a sheer what is called as the human intellectual product. If man had not been able to create an idea, I think we would not have created civilizations, we would not have developed into the stage where we are today. And now we say that, we can go into the sky, we can go underwater, we can fly, etc., etc. All that is merely because of what is called as human intellectual creativity. And I'm sure this would give you an idea that, say, how man has naturally been creative, naturally been intellectual, naturally been a person having a capacity to generate ideas, because ideas are essential. Ideas are the requirement. Ideas are the basic inputs in the process of development. Ideas are the basic necessities in the process of anything that we do together as a society, as a group, as a maybe nation, etc., etc. And for that reason, the man has all the while been creative, intellectually productive, and perhaps in this world, in this what is called as say the terrestrial world, what I should say terrestrial, where we have millions and millions of organisms of the variety. Maybe some are of a very bigger size, some are of a very smaller size, unlike human beings, maybe who are say in the size, say as far as the height, maybe between 4 and say 6 or 7 feet. Well, but largely men being 5.5 feet, women being say 5 feet height with what is called as a typical, say the small structure that you find. Look at what is called as the mind. So body is small, but the mind is very, very big. Mind can transition itself into say different arena and think differently and act differently, and thinking and acting that what we see in the human world right from the beginning till now, till today, it's all what is called as human mental activity or human mental product. So that way, it has been something which is very well known to all of us that say the intellectuality is something very old, and of course it has evolved, it has progressed, it has grown, it has taken different shape, it has taken different direction, and all this needs to be seen in relation with that of what is called as the way in which society has progressed, the way in which society has evolved. You cannot separate property rights, intellectual property rights, or intellectual creativity from that of what is called as say the social world in which the intellectual creativity takes place. And I should say that intellectual creativity or intellectual product is essentially of what is called as a social product. And there is a proverb or proverbial saying that we say that man has been very innovative, etc., etc., and all that what man has been able to do or innovate, it is all from out of sheer necessity. So we say that necessity is the mother of innovation or invention. Okay, why it is said so is mainly because as and when man or human beings have found something being say a requirement, a necessity, well, I'm sure he has been able to create something, generate something as an idea. You know that in America, there was what is called as a saying that ideas are for sale. Of course, ideas are for sale means it is again say the ideas are intellectually created. Ideas are of the human creation, human mental creation, and ideas pertaining to anything. What not say the human mind has not thought about, it has thought about everything, about himself, about others, about the whole world, about say the entire terrestrial, could be underwater, above water, even what is called say the space, etc., etc. See, that is what is called as a capacity that what the human mind has got in terms of its creativity or creative capabilities. So that way, creative capabilities are something very, very naturally endowed, and it's only the human beings who have this say capacity, who have this what is called a speciality, none other than human beings. Say, as I pointed out, there are very big animals like say elephant, etc., etc., but it doesn't have a creative capacity. Maybe there is a tiger, which is a very powerful animal, it doesn't have a creative capacity. They live up to only what is called as say meeting their natural say requirements. Okay, what are called as say the basic requirements where they stop at, but man do not stop at the basic requirement. Well, but he could move further and farther, and mainly because of that we have been able to come up to the level where we are as individuals, as society, and as a kind of what is called as a living arrangement, that what we have in this terrestrial world. That is where the human power of the mind is power of the mind could be taken into for an assessment, for gauging. We can gauge a human mind, and human mind has an unlimited capacity to produce ideas. It has an unlimited capacity to create ideas. It has an unlimited capacity to think in different directions, and it's where the human beings become very, very extraordinary and very, very super. So that's why it is always considered that, human beings are the super animals in this world, despite there are very big animals living by our side, say in the part of the ecology we share, but yet they cannot beat man, they cannot meet man. That is the human world, and that is what the human beings. Okay, and that when we talk about what is called as the intellectual creativity, the intellectual creativity vary from time to time, differ from time to time, differ from space to space. Differ from place to place. What I would like to call it as spatio-temporal issue. We need to take into consideration of the spatio-temporal aspects of the intellectual property, and of course the rights over what is called as such properties generated or created by the human beings. Okay, that a kind of what is called as an IPR that is there in America perhaps may not be there in India, or maybe that is there in what is called as our rural world, in the folk society, that may not there, say in the modern society in which we live. That the folk society, as we talk about, which are very small, very simple, maybe they to have a lot of creative thinking, they to create a lot of ideas for a situation that is required well within their living arrangements, but right as such that what one can claim may not be there in a folk society or in a rural society, well, but that you see it as a part of what is called as the modern complex society, of course, in which we all live, and to which, of course, we belong, and of which we are a part. I'm really happy that this 4 days webinar has brought the stalwarts in the area of law, like Dr. Bimesh, Dr. Ratish, Dr. Shalini, and Dr. Arati, who have been able to provide an overview. I mean, as to say what has really happened in case of intellectual property rights, the patent system, the trademark, and also what is called as copyright. It's something really a wonderful arrangement that what this college has been able to make for, say, all the learners in and around the college, and of course across the college, say across the society, that they have been able to provide us a sort of what is called as, in brief, an input pertaining to all these aspects that constitute a broader area or a broader arena, what is called as intellectual property rights. That when I was saying in the beginning that, as a student of sociology, I would like to relate myself to this arena, the academic arena called intellectual property right. In sociology, we have a sub-discipline called sociology of law. And also we have another sub-discipline called sociology of professions and occupations and professions. Sociology of law and sociology of occupations and professions. The Intellectual Property Rights Act, what of course the several European societies, so-called the advanced societies, including America and also India in the recent past, have been able to bring into effect, perhaps say would serve as what is called as a sort of a normative arrangement that what a modern society requires to have in place. Otherwise, the intellectual creations, that whatever that human beings have been able to say follow, I think would have got affected if the normative say normative, say, prescriptions were not there. As of course we have become more complex, more modern, more industrial, and more what is called as the communities or the societies living literally in market. We live in market. We have become a highly market society in the sense everything is for sale or purchase. When there are sellers, and sellers become important because there are buyers. And say the seller and buyer relationship would go mainly say based on what is called as certain normative prescriptions. So law provides a normative prescription. Okay, and law provides a kind of what is called as do's and don'ts, or what in other words said in say the sociological terminologies is prescription and proscription. Prescribe means you do, you may do, you can do. Proscription means you cannot do, you don't do, you should not do. This is exactly what is there in say the legal frameworks that what all these modern societies have been able to say develop and put them in place and make them operational. So that way even the act is an human creativity. The Intellectual Property Rights Act is what is called as a creativity of human mind. It's a product of human mind. Well, maybe it is done collectively, as of course we have legislations who are said to be the elected representatives who would be doing legislations, making legislations, etc., etc. That is something as a practice that we see across the what is called as say the globe. So that way it provides what is called as a sort of a normative framework for the usage of the intellectual properties, okay, where the right is given to all those who would create in whatever area they are specialized. Okay, maybe it could be art, it could be dance, it could be what is called as poetry, it could be novel, it could be industrial designs, it could be industrial products, it could be say the chemical innovations or explorations, even designs, building structure designs, etc., etc. All that is what is called as covered under what is known as say the different provisions of the law. What in other words I would say that the normative arrangement that what a society has to have, I think that we have in the form of act today, what is called as IPR Act. And you find IPR Act in every society, in every country. Okay, but otherwise also in the what is known as say the traditional societies, the normative prescriptions of an informal type or of a traditional type were also there, have been there. That means society has all the while been guarding the interests of those who have been able to create something from out of their sheer articulative thinking. So that kind of an arrangement has all the while been there, and that is mainly and precisely to do justice or provide what is called as say a kind of a scope for the people to generate something, and for having generated something they need to be given back well in return, maybe as a what is called as a reward, which would what is called as make them and keep them being motivated. And that is how the creativity in the human world well has been followed, and it will keep going on, and perhaps it will be more year after, because as there are new problems of the kind that are encountered by the human beings, naturally we will have to have new tools, new techniques, new methodologies in order to handle such situations, and all that need to be created from out of articulated thinking of the human beings. And it's here where the IPR becomes very, very essential, more so the normative structure, the normative design. And this normative design is being practiced in the court of law, say the legal professional. I said, sociology of occupations and professions, where it becomes what is called as a sort of an issue to be taken up in case of the violation of, say, following the normative prescription that is there with regard to creativity and also its utility, the transfer or carriage or say someone being what is called as using and all that needs to be monitored. All that needs to be what is called as say looked after. And we have court as an institution. Law is an institution, court is an institution, and using this as what is called as a sort of a frame. Well, the property rights have been what is called as protected, property rights have been encouraged, property rights have been sponsored, and property rights have been encouraged. And it is an essential requirement of a modern society. What, of course, Auguste Comte, the founding father of sociology, has talked at length about the modern industrial society, the empirical, where everything has to be, say, taken into account only based on its reality, not something that is what is said about, or not something what is really there in what is there in the what is known as say the informal and theological understandings of the human groups. Well, but everything has to be there. Well, say in reality for human experience. So that way, I would only say that the IPR and say the IPR is a domain not only of the legal professionals, well, but it has to be a domain of what is called as, and indeed it is there in the arena of the sociological subject matters. And thereby, I see that there is a lot to be connected, see, to be given and taken. And I would only request what is called as my legal professional friends that take a look into what is called as what way this has been done, even in what is known as say the primitive or a modern, so to say the traditional societies, how intellectual creativity is carried out in traditional societies, how it is encouraged in traditional society, how it is sponsored in traditional societies, how it is say supported in traditional societies. And as I said, every human organization is supposed to have this kind of an arrangement, for the reason of which, well, we have been able to reach up to a level where we have come up to now. When last thing, or one more item, or one more thing, that what I would like to emphasize here is on the history of science and technology. We say that there is a lot of scientific innovation, scientific development, scientific researches, okay, so to say academic or maybe industrial, etc., etc. This is not something very, very new to the human world. It's not that something that has come into being only with the advancement of the industrial revolution, advent of industrial revolution, say that took place in Europe during late 18th and early 19th century. And of course, it is in the backdrop of the Industrial Revolution that you see all this becoming quite pronounced and quite what is called as say looked after and looked into. But otherwise, it has been there ever since the human beings came into being. In my understanding, the intellectual property or intellectual creativity or articulative thinking and creating, as of course it gets emanated from the human minds, it is as old as that of the human beings. It is as old as that of what is called as say the human civilizations. When earliest man in the Stone Age, what historians talk about the Stone Age, what is the speciality of a Stone Age, or how it gets say considered as a Stone Age? It gets considered as a Stone Age because man could learn as to say how to develop the stones into tools in order to kill animals, in order to say dig out, say to look for what is called as say the roots for his consumption. So that way, man has been able to do that. And so the history of science and technology is supposed to be considered as the history of what is called as say the intellectual properties. So with these few words, I'm not very sure as to say how well and how effectively and how fruitfully I, as a student of sociology, as a person trained in the area of sociology, been able to very, very appealing to my legal friends like Bimesh, Ritish, Shalini, and Aarti, that it is a subject matter of not only the legal professionals or the law universities, but essentially of anthropology, of sociology, ethnology, ethnography, history, culture. No, you have to look for the roots of intellectualism, intellectual creativity, and perhaps it is there where you can unearth a lot of realities that what have had happened in the human world in the yesteryears. And if you can say collect those details and collate and put them into what is called as in an organized way, perhaps that would serve as what is called as a base for understanding the history and development, that is say the historical development of say the intellectual creativity, and now what we call it as property, and then we provide right for which we have a legal provision, and thereby you can make your students understand the things in a very very better way. And I only request my law colleagues, law professionals, provide the students this kind of what is called as the dimension, where they can go back into the history and see that there is a historical dimension, and there are also what are called as say the cultural dimensions, there are legal dimensions, there are what are called as say the moral dimensions, because moral dimension is equally important. Otherwise, if moral dimension is would not have been there, people would have done something. At gunpoint, perhaps people could have taken away the ideas of the individuals and put them into, say, use for their benefit without giving anything to the one who has or who would have created. Let me just ask you one thing. Vasco da Gama, see, he identified a route. He rather, say, traveled across the waters, like say the Atlantic waters, Indian waters, Indian Ocean, okay, waters, and huge, say, water bodies to reach up to India. And it was he who did it for the first time. And it was his exploration. He is considered to be one of the greatest explorers. Like Vasco da Gama, we have had hundreds and thousands of explorers in different order, in different areas, in different capacities. And let me ask my legal friends that whether Vasco da Gama did claim his right over his exploration. Nay, these intellectual creativity is eventually for the welfare of the society, for the benefit of the society, and for the humanity. I felt so sorry the other day when I read in the newspaper that Bill Gates openly talking about not to give the patent, see the medicinal patents to the Indian society in order to, not that say we would have become rich, not that we would have become capitalists, extra capitalists by say making use of those things. Bloody a sheer capitalistic tendency amongst the Westerners, which has made them to stand at this level talking about the intellectual property rights. Nay, there cannot be a right as such. Nay, we are not there tomorrow. I'm sure Bill Gates is not there tomorrow. He would die. We all die. But we leave our products to the posterity. We leave our products to the generations to come for their benefit, for their welfare. And that should be what is called as the moral dimension, the moral approach, the moral angle of the intellectual property right and the act, that whatever, okay, that what my legal fraternity friends should say take into cognizance. And well, indeed, say to me it is very very enriching an idea, because enriching experience, because in a few days I was just mulling over as to say what is it that I should speak about with having no knowledge of law. What is it that I should convince, say, the viewers as to what way I am as a person trained in sociology has got something to do with the intellectual property right. Yes, now I feel I'm happy because I have been able to pinpoint one thing, that it is of, say, the societal property. Anything that man creates, man produces, it belongs to society because he belongs to society. See, the scientists are supported by the society. Technocrats are supported by the society. And whatever that a scientist or a technocrat produces from out of his articulated thinking, it pertains to the society, it belongs to the society. Not that, say, scientist would go to the field and cultivate the plants for his food and then comes back to his laboratory and then do his what is called as exploitative business. Our farmers provide food to him. Our farmers produce food to the scientists. Our farmers produce food to these technocrats. So what is the right that you provide to them for having supported these guys? It's here where the moral angle, welfare angle need to be taken into account when we take the IPR into cognizance. Let there be a holistic approach towards understanding the IPR, intellectual property right, and intellectual property, say, not right. If you attach the term property, then naturally it becomes what is called as a questionable thing, like, whether I own it or I don't own it, then it becomes a right, then legal provisions, law, etc., etc. Well, anyway, we have moved far, far ahead in this, and I'm sure we cannot go back when the whole world is talking about IPR Act, IPR rights, these, that. We also need to go in the same direction. We also need to follow the same steps, but not to undermine what is called as the communities, the groups, the peoples, the individuals who provide the required basis for the so-called creative individuals or the creative minds. So it has to be seen in relation with everyone, everything, and everybody. And it's here where, with due apology to Bill Gates, because I never thought, he, on the one hand, he pumps in a lot of money for welfare activities, and on the other hand, bloody, he says that the patent should not be shared with India or anybody. What a foolish thing. What an inhuman approach that Bill Gates exhibited himself. I'm sorry to talk about this. Well, with these few words, I close here, and I thank the principal of the Devegowda first grade college, Paduvala Hippi, Professor G.D. Narayan, and the whole team. He is something like what is called as a role model to all others who would become principal, in order to keep everyone on tenterhooks. You would make everyone to work. You would make everyone to come in line with, say, an idea that needs to be taken to a logical end. That's how he has been able to do this and several other programs. And I would always say that I am envious to G.D. Narayan. I'm envious because he has been able to do something fantastic by being in what is called as a small college, taking everyone along. There could be possibly some voices against all that he does, but yet, of course, they would fall in line with, in the interest of the college, and of course the larger society, because college belongs to society. College is not something, say, has come from somewhere else. It's all from the society and for the society. And I'm happy that you all have been able to join hands with him, and maybe the dreams of what is called as, say, the leaders like Revanna, Devegowda, and others come true. I wish they all come true in terms of empowering the people in the local area, in terms of providing good education, a meaningful education to the people in that area. With these few words, I thank everyone, say, Principal Narayan and the whole team, okay, Singh and few others, so Purushottam and others, okay, very few names I remember, well, but otherwise everyone who is a part of this exercise, they all need to be thanked very, very specially, and I do it from my side. Kindly accept my thanks. Okay, kudos to the whole team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such an insightful address. We are thankful to you for accepting our invitation and joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye. Thank you.
I remind all the participants to fill the feedback forms, one on fourth session and another on the entire workshop. Thank you. Now, I request Dr. G.D. Narayan, sir, Principal, Shri H.D. Devegowda Government First Grade College, Paduval Hippe, to render the presidential address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected today's chief guest for valedictory address, former professor of sociology, Karnataka University, Dharwad, and founder register of Karnataka Folklore University and former president of Karnataka Sociology Association, Dr. C.A. Somshakarappa sir. Today's resource person from Ambedkar Law University, Chennai, Ms. R. Aarti Ratna ma'am. Today's program facilitators, Pallavi ma'am, Kumar sir, Dr. Sundaresh sir, Sanjeev sir, Dr. Vijay Kumar sir, Purushottam sir, Vidya madam, and my dear delegates and participate from all over India, and my college organizing team of 4 days national level virtual workshop. I'm very happy to deliver my presidential remarks. Successfully, we have completed 4 sessions of our national level virtual workshop on awareness of intellectual property rights. Today, we had a very interesting session on an overview of copyrights by Madam Aarti Ratna. Copyright protects the author's rights to determine how the work is distributed, reproduced, displayed, or performed. The author also has direct discretion over the creation of directive works. Ma'am Aarti Ratna enlightened us on details of intellectual property rights like negative rights, exclusive rights, registration rights, independent rights, work like literary work, artistic works, musical work, dramatic work, owner of the work, authorship and ownership, etc. It's and also registration process and need of getting copyrights, etc. We are very happy for Madam your inspired lecturing. My dear delegates, Dr. Somshakarappa sir is one of the greatest sociologists in Karnataka. Sir is my path of academic. He is the man of discipline. Sir is my well-wisher. He is extraordinary academician. He is the diplomat. He is a mankind. We are extremely happy to receive Sir's remarkable valedictory address. Sir enlightened on overall national level virtual workshop and appreciate academics of our college. Sir, we are very happy that you have come and given valedictory address despite your busy schedule. It's shown your concern of our college and me. Before close of my presidential speech, I should express my regards. It's not the thanks, it's not the word of thanks, it's my regards, our courtesy to all those who supported for the success of this 4 days program. First, I would like to say my regards are thanks to beloved Honorable MLA of Holenshpura, former PWD Minister of Government of Karnataka and CDC President of our college, HD Revana sir. I would like to express my sincere thanks to my lovable and reputed research guide, Dr. A. Ramegowda sir, who inaugurated this program, and resource person of the first day session, Dr. M.N. Bimesh sir, second day resource person, Dr. Ajay Ratish sir, third day resource person, Shalini ma'am, and today's resource person, Aarti Ratna ma'am, and my valedictory chief guest, Somshakarappa sir. Sir, wholehearted thanks to all. It's my so I must mention my deep thanks to facilitators today's programs, Pallavi ma'am, Kumar sir, Sundaresh sir, Sanjeev sir, Vijay Kumar sir, Purushottam sir, Vidya madam, and my dear delegates and participants all over India. I must mention my deep sense and appreciation to all the members of technical committee. Without technical committee, we can't do these things now. So I'm very happy my technical committee and organizing committee also, because an event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and a bird eye for details. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues who know their job and are result oriented. So on this occasion, I wish to thank my college organizing and technical committee, Dr. Vinay Kumar sir, B.S. Srinivas sir, Darshan sir, Lohit sir, Nirikshan sir, Vidya madam, Pallavi madam, Dr. Vijay sir, Shiva sir, So once again, I'm very heartful thanks to them, and also everyone for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of task beyond their comfort zone. And also, I would like to say thanks members of CDC, alumni, parent and teacher association. So one and all, thank you all for your presence and friendly support. Madam Artiratna and Professor Somshekar sir, today's I'm very happy for the completion of this program along with the electric address and also resource things. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
And
On-
thanks a lot. Okay, bye.
On behalf of the college, I shall bring to the attention of all the participants that we have some more conferences and workshops planned on relevant and current topics. We
This one.
humbly expect the participation and support in our knowledge enhancing programs. Our efforts, along with your support and participation, can result in wonders. Thank you. Now, we have reached the end of national level virtual workshop on intellectual property rights. I request Srimati Vidya, Assistant Professor of Commerce, to express vote of thanks. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Pallavi ma'am. A very good afternoon to everyone. At the outset, on behalf of the institution and organizing committee, I wish to express my gratitude to Sri H.D. Revanna sir, Honorable MLA, former Minister, Government of Karnataka, and CDC President of Sri H.D. Devegowda Government First Grade College, Padolippe, for his constant support in all our endeavors. Thank you, sir. I may like to express our sincere thanks to Mrs. R. Aarti Ratna ma'am, resource person of today's session, for giving an excellent coverage to an overview of copyrights. Thank you, ma'am. I also would like to acknowledge our gratitude to Dr. A. Ramegowda sir, Professor and Chairman, Department of PG Studies and Research in Sociology, former Registrar, Kuvempu University, for accepting our invitation to express his thoughts in the inaugural ceremony. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Dr. M.N. Bhimesh sir, Dr. I.G. Ratish sir, and Mrs. Shalini ma'am, who enlightened all of us with their excellent deliberations in the earlier sessions of this 4 days national level virtual workshop on awareness of intellectual property rights. I also extend my thanks to Dr. C.A. Somshekarappa, former Professor of Sociology, Karnataka University, Dharwad, for accepting our invitation to deliver his insightful thoughts in the valedictory ceremony. Very brilliantly, you connected intellectual property rights to the social science and other domains, and how intellectual creativity has seen the progress from the ancient civilizations. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us. I express my sincere thanks to the president of today's session, our principal, Dr. G.D. Narayana, sir, for his consistent support and presence throughout, and for the presidential remarks. Thank you, sir. I thank today's facilitators, Ms. Pallavi ma'am, Shri Kumar sir, Dr. Sundesh sir, Shri Sanjeev Kumar sir, Dr. Vijay Kumar sir, and Shri Purushottam sir for coordinating today's session excellently. I wholeheartedly thank Dr. Nirikshan sir, Organizing Secretary, and Dr. Vinay Kumar sir, Chief Advisor of this program, for extending their support. I also thank the organizing committee, technical committee, all the teaching and non-teaching fraternity, CDC members, alumni association, parent teachers association, and everyone who have directly or indirectly supported us. I thank all the participants, which includes students and teachers and professionals from various parts of the country. Thank you all. A special thanks to Sumant, second year student of MSW, for his melodious prayer song on the first day. Thank you. Be healthy and be safe. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, Pallavi, ma'am. Ma'am,
Madam,
please unmute.
Thank you, ma'am. Once again, I thank one and all. Be safe, be healthy, and I officially declare this session, the completion of this session. Namaste.
Okay, thank you, one and all. Thank you, Principal Sir. Thank you, Chief Guest, and thank you, organizers, for giving me such an opportunity. Thank you so much.
thank you, Aarti Madam and Somsekhar sir.
Thanks a
Thank you.
lot to everyone. Bye bye.
I take leave, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
ನಾವಾಗಬೇಕು